Okay. Uh, Hi Chandler. Welcome to the Web3 Africa workshop. We are excited to learn about how Insight is making it easier to visualize transactions uh, in the blockchain. And this is a personal workshop for me because I'm really excited about this. I'm very excited about things that make things easier, especially around like to the community and to people that actually do not have experience with it. So uh, you can just do a little bit of introduction and then you can start presenting. The workshop is being recorded, so we're good to go.
Okay, perfect. I actually have some slides, so is it all right if I share my screen?
Absolutely, please. You should see a share button somewhere on the bottom.
Yep. Host disabled participants screen share.
It would be enabled right away.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
Oh, I can see your screen.
perfect. Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
So get started. So thank you for having me. My name is Chandler Schaak. I am from Boardman, Oregon, out of the United States. Thrilled to be here. I wanted to thank the community, Web3 Africa community, for having us on and listening to us today. And then I did want to give a special shout out and thanks to Mercy for actually connecting everyone and making this happen today. Um, I did go ahead and make a quick agenda, so gonna kind of go through the basics and a refresher, and then how hindsight kind of came to be and what was the driving impact or force for it. And then I have some slides to kind of go through examples and kind of do a comparison. And then I do have a live demo planned for us. And then at the end of that, a quick recap and a spot for questions. Any questions so far? Does that work? I got the thumbs up. All right. So what is hindsight? Um, to answer that, I find a lot of times I have to usually talk about the blockchain and what is a blockchain. So I'm sure most all of you are familiar, but a blockchain is a decentralized ledger. And sometimes ledger gets misconstrued. And so what we're talking about here is like an accounting ledger, like your actual accountant uses, where it has all your income, all your outgo, and it actually has that like logged sequentially, historically. And so that's all a blockchain is, and then it's immutable, so no one can change it after the fact and things like that, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. And then a block explorer, so that's what a blockchain is. The block explorer is what lets someone go on and make sure that that transaction went through and verify the records of that ledger. And so that's what the block explorers are. And what we are is a visual way of doing that. And that'll make sense in a couple more slides. But we're trying to give that in a visual way. The nature of the blockchain is that it's non-tangible. You can't touch a Bitcoin. You can't touch an Ethereum. And so if we can at least show that to people, I think that will help a lot of people understand this new technology and how it kind of works. And so that segues really nicely into like what was the driving force? When did you know like this needed to happen? And so as I mentioned earlier, I'm from Boardman, Oregon. We have a lot of cattle and farmers and truckers out here. And I was really curious about these technologies. So I went to PSU and University of Washington. And as I started to learn about these technologies, when I brought them back to my community, no matter how much I learned, I wasn't able to explain it very well. And so even when I took the next steps and I tried to use one of the traditional block explorers like Etherscan or SoulScan, it was just kind of too much data and just kind of too complex for people to wrap their head around still. And so that was kind of when the light bulb came on that if we don't make the main pathway or verifying transactions or give people a way to show this to them, then mass adoption is not going to be quick. Mass adoption is going to be a begrudging type thing. And so the question for me really became like, how do we get away from the traditional explorers? And I myself am dyslexic. And so like when I used to give speeches and things, I would write out like diagrams. And so rather than having a list of notes written down that I would be reading through, I just had a couple of pictures. Like my teacher, Miss Clapshaw, just looked like two hands clapping together. And I knew to speak about like special ed and some of the things she did and talk about that section. I didn't need that whole, you know what I mean? And so for me, going for the visuals was just kind of the next step. And what we were trying to solve, like the three things I went into this trying to solve was one, the data overload. There's too many hashes, too many numbers. It's too spread out. It is just data overload. There's no other word for it. You have the complexity of the block explorer, and you have hashes, which I think we all know are not meant for people. Like those are meant for miners and validators, and those are meant for machines made by machines. And so de-overloading it and simplifying it were kind of hand in hand. And then we already kind of talked about the lack of adoption. And so obviously we wanted something that could be picked up by pretty much anyone from middle school up and at least be understood. And so we wanted something that could help with that lack of adoption pain point. And then the third thing is kind of something I really wanted to focus on was Bitcoin, blockchains are some of these most secure methods of payment in the world, and yet they are associated with scams and high risk. And that's just not, in my opinion, how the world's best payment system or that ecosystem should look or be. And so with these three things in mind, we went about creating Hindsight. And so I've done a lot of talking about the visuals and things like that and making it simple. And so this is the first glance at what we're doing. And I hope it looks simple. Two rings and a line. I hope that's simple. But what we're trying to do here is increase the transparency and accessibility. And so by transforming some of these things that would be represented like this, where you have the to or the from and the to, these are your wallets on Etherscan, we can represent them here. Where down here you have that this is the amount of Ethereum being transferred and it was 27 days ago, and this weird hash and a block that I think 90% of us don't care about. Like, is that fair to say? We can give you a lot of the same information. We can verify the same transaction and not overload you and spread out where the sender and receiver's down here, but the transactions up here. Oh, but it was approved and successful. And then here's the amount up here. And so, like say, we wanted to condense it all, make it a lot more seamless and a lot more just kind of at a glance. And so before we take a step forward, I will kind of open it up to questions real quick, just because we have some comparisons here. Anything from you? You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the first screenshot. Obviously, the other one was an example, but this is the same transaction from above. So we have the sender, we have the receiver, and we here, because this isn't an example, we do have the actual amount here highlighted for you, where we have the 0.0507. But what this screen is supposed to articulate here is over on this far right side, you can see the 28-day. So it may not be the timestamp, but you have that there. So if you're looking in the last, I know I sent that transaction 15, 30 days ago. It's not quite the timestamp. You can get that over here, But for at a glance, easy view from the right, we have your transaction breakdown. We have the sender, we have the receiver, and then we have the amount. And then we have that this wallet is sending it to this wallet, and you can even see the first four and I think the last four on each one. And then over here on the bottom left, if you wanted more information, when you click on this, you get that there was this much value transferred. It went from here. And if you want to copy that address, you can. If you want to copy the transaction hash, you can. And so we give you all the same information. We just split it out and put it kind of where, as a user, people would actually want it and it would actually be helpful and make sense. And so the next thing, as I mentioned earlier, so we covered the simplicity, we covered the at a glance, and we covered how we kind of want anyone to be able to pick this up and understand it. And so I think with the rings and this, we achieved that. So first two things we checked off. The next one we wanted to check off was the scams and risk associated with the blockchain. And so what we came up with is a color coding for the rings and the borders around our shapes. And so Hindsight builds a safer place for communities to grow, for people to adopt through, and for just hopefully a healthier, safer community as a whole. The idea here being you can go on to Hindsight, and if you see a red border on something, you know more or less you should avoid it or do some more due diligence. Like, that is a scammer. That is not the contract for Bored Apes Yacht Club. It may say it is, and it may have a cool website, but it's not, I promise you. And then when you see the malicious, that usually means that there's something going on there. They may be phishing, it may be something like that, or that we've gotten some mixed reports on that. In Hindsight, and I will show you during the demo, does have a way for every user to go on and report what happened to them. And so if you are interacting with something and it does a token set approval and takes all your funds, report that to Hindsight with as much screenshots and as much information as you can. We have people who will go through that by hand. And if the claims are substantial and we verify them via the blockchain, then we will change that color. And then hopefully other people don't fall for the same scam. And we're kind of building that community shield of malicious actors or malicious contracts that are just sitting there waiting for new users to trip them. So before we do the demo, I have a quick little question break here if anyone has any questions.
Yeah,
Oh.
so if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. I have a question, but I think it's preferably maybe after the demo that I would bring it up.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
not sure why my screen shrunk here.
Okay.
I want to maximize full screen. There we go.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So this is the homepage, hindsight.vip. Nice, easy domain name for everyone. As you come down, you'll see the launch app. We'll cover that in a second, but I really want to talk about the networks we support. So right now we have full support for Ethereum and Solana, and we will have full support by XRPL by the end of the year. We are currently refining NFTs on there, and that is why that is not live, but you can search the other things, and we are working on that. Optimism and Base are both EVM compatible, so they are expected around January or February, and we're just fixing some things between the two, and so Hindsight's goal at the end of the day here is to support the major networks. So that way, if a new user gets into Solana and then they decide that Ethereum is for them, then we can support them and we can support users no matter what blockchain they go to. And so we are EVM compatible, we are Solana compatible, and now we're just kind of fine tuning some of the things with XRPL, and then we'll be adding our EVM networks almost monthly. Going forward, we have a quick video. Since I have a little bit of time, I'm gonna go ahead and watch it. This is kind of what Hindsight is striving towards. Oh, let me get that audio on.
Introducing Hindsight VIP, a simplified and inclusive block explorer designed to make blockchain data accessible and easy to understand for everyone. Our platform simplifies blockchain data through innovative visualizations. We use shapes and lines to represent different blockchain entities and transactions, making it easy to see at a glance what's happening on the blockchain. In Hindsight, a ring represents a wallet address. When a token is transferred from one address to another, an arrow connects them, showing the transfer direction. Each ring size is determined by the net worth of an individual. For example, ring A with 50 ETH sends 5 ETH to ring B, which has 0.5 ETH. Hindsight's shape mode categorizes different entities into distinct shapes. Ring A, being a big crypto exchange, is represented by a triangle. In this example, wallet A sent 30,000 RAD to address B, a staking contract. Hindsight also helps you avoid scams. Whenever you see a pulsating red or orange ring, that's your scam or malicious alert. You can also explore tokens and NFTs effortlessly with Hindsight. Our user-friendly interface simplifies data presentation, so even non-technical users can navigate and understand blockchain activities effortlessly. Don't just explore, discover with Hindsight VIP.
And so that is what we are working towards. That's kind of the general idea and overview. As you scroll down, we have our unique features and some information. If you did want to send this to someone, we have our use cases. Essentially, if you are querying or looking at the blockchain or using the blockchain in any way, you probably have a use case for us or that we can help you with. So now that that's kind of covered, oh, there is a chat. Hold on. Yeah, so we do work with some partners to grow our database and to identify malicious and scams, but we do ask the community and users, because as we start to grow on more blockchains and as more people adopt the blockchain, keeping track of every smart contract that exists is going to be very difficult. And so we do ask or encourage users to share their experience. And if we don't already have it categorized, or if it's a new contract or something like that, and you have a friend who trips it, or then yeah, please share that with us so that way we can get it into our database and get it with our partners, and we can make the blockchain a safer network and the space safer as a whole. Yes, and so if the address is wrongly flagged, we can go in and reverse that. So if we get that through a partner and it turns out that it was wrong, we do have the ability to change that on our side. And that is some of the reason why we do go through every report by hand. We aren't pushing that to AI or to any automation right now. We want that reviewed by a person. So that way a upset person with your service or product can't go and just submit a bunch of reports and then it gets flagged. And so we do try to mitigate that with human intervention and not outsourcing that to technology and having 2 or 3 people look at those. But I mean, we are human, there may be mistakes. And so yes, there is absolutely a way to reverse something that has been wrongly tagged. So I'll go ahead and hit launch. This is how you go from our landing page to the actual tool. So here we have featured tokens. These are just typically the most searched or have high trade volume. Sometimes if we have a partnership, most times if we have a partnership, we will put them on here. If you switch over to NFTs, we have the NFTs here, and through popular, you can see their items, how many people are holding them, and then how many sales they kind of have. And then we do give you a way to copy and paste the address for these, and we do give the Etherscan view if you want to use that, or verify things. And so we'll go back over to tokens. Up here, you can paste in addresses or any hash, and it will take you to it. We'll just start with Chainlink, if everyone's all right with that. So Hindsight is showing you live data. So sometimes with high volume things like this, your last one's going to be a minute ago just because of how information moves. And so right here, you can see from the icon that this is a Coinbase wallet. And from here, you can see that, oh, didn't mean to click that side of it. And so now, yep. So here we can see we have these nice big exchanges here. And as we hit our shape mode here in the top right-hand corner, we can see that these are exchanges. So if we click on them, we have our information in the left-hand side. We have the price of the token, the current market cap, give or take. And then down here, we can see the total assets of this is what, 286 million. And so if you're a new user and you see a triangle and you aren't sure what that means, you can hover over this little question mark and an exchange, trading one cryptocurrency for another on a platform. And so it gives you a little bit of an idea of what that shape means and what that represents. If we click on the line connecting them, and we can zoom in here, it highlights it on this side for us. So we know that this is this transaction. It happened roughly 3 minutes ago, and it was for 770 link and change. If we want the more specific date time, that is right here. And so this is a kind of basic, if you were to just hop on Hindsight and take a look, what you would see. It appears as though my question bar, my chat bar has gone away. Oh, there it is. Okay, no questions. And so I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of grabbing some wallets for us. So this drop down, when I put in a Solana address, it does drop down and let you know that Hindsight thinks that this is a Solana hash or a related Solana address. And so here, the yellow indicates that this is the wallet we searched. If you tap these buttons right now, it won't do anything. And so if you do have that happen to you, just hit the shape mode in the top right, and then you can zoom in. And so that works, just hit your shape button. And so here you can see we have the transfers. And this, because it isn't a collection, it isn't all of the link moving in any direction at any time, and it is just one wallet, it is going to be centralized. And so this is the one wallet sending or receiving. And so this wallet does not look like it interacts with many shapes often, and it does look like it is just interacting with other wallets. So they may be doing peer-to-peer actions or things like that. And then here we can click on the shapes, and we can see here that this wallet has somewhere around 2 point something SOL, around $390 total. And this wallet is on the smaller side because it's got less SOL, even though it has more total assets. And so when you are looking on your networks and you are looking at the wallet, it will be specific unless you come down here to the drop down and select coins or something, and then it'll only show you the transactions that involve that network's coin and not the other related tokens that trade on it. And so this wallet, again, I mean, it's just been moving SOL to and from people. So, oh, I've got some questions. Oh. And so as we come into hindsight, if we wanted to check out something like US Tether, again, this is the entire token, everyone moving anything that involves this token. We do have a eco mode, and so this will show you the top 100 holders of this token. And in the event any of them have transacted with each other, that will show, but this eco view just shows you the top 100 holders and if they have moved anything directly between each other. And so from here, it doesn't look like anyone has. You could go search this on Etherscan. It would take you a long time, but this is something Hindsight is working on and developing, and just one of the additional views and things to come that we are trying to add to make maybe not just exploring, but learning about the blockchain a little bit easier and getting some of these concepts to people and just easier and more accessible. Okay, question. Yeah, okay, that's actually a really good question. So Hindsight can help with anything that is not XPub based, anything that doesn't use the rolling addresses, we can support. And so if a dev team wanted to test contracts or do something like that, we could totally set something up with you guys where we were supporting whichever test net you were on. And so if you wanted to see if your proxy contract was actually doing what it was supposed to and feeding that data to the actual contract you need it to, you could do that. I'm not sure how easy it would be to like have that run on your local or set that up so that you could do that. But I mean, our team's happy to talk to anyone about these types of things. Trust wallet. Once I had a trust wallet account. Oh, once I had a trust wallet account and I had some assets on it, but unfortunately I've forgotten and lost my passphrase. How do I restore my account back? Unfortunately, that is not something Hindsight can help you with. We don't do anything with seed phrases or anything like that. We just public addresses. And so as far as recovering that wallet, nothing I can really suggest for you, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's actually a very good question. It sounds like I can move off the demo and kind of circle back to the wrap up. I will answer that there for you, but yes, we actually have a bot coming for you. So we will have a bot here by the end of the year that will actually do that for you. So since you guys are already a little bit past me, so the Discord bot right now, as I talked about a little bit, we're working on XRPL and adding those EVM networks. Hindsight does have a Discord bot coming. This Discord bot will be for subscribers. Hindsight is a $10 a month subscription fee. And we have been talking about in some areas doing different pricing like Netflix does. And so it is Hindsight again, and I cannot stress this enough. The whole point of Hindsight is to make blockchain more accessible and more understandable. And so Hindsight is a free service. You will be able to use it at any time. We will have ads at some point, so you may get hit with some ads, but it will be a free service. And then there are, if you want extra things past the just exploring, like the Discord bot that notifies you when something that you interact with gets tagged as a scam, or we have a Discord bot that will send you a message about that and will notify you through your direct messages in a private way. It has some other things you can do if tokens hit certain prices, or if this wallet moves more than this amount of funds, more than 10% of its worth to this type of wallet, or it has quite a few, and we're always looking for more things to add there. And so we would love to get some user feedback on that once it's launched in the next 2 weeks. And I think that kind of answers your question. I know I'm going out of my slide orders here, but I think that answers the question. Yeah, so you won't have your own bot that you can front run, but when we tag something, the Discord bot, if you've set it up and asked for those notifications, it will give you those notifications. So you might be able to hook another bot up on in front of that, but hopefully our bot would have all the information you would need and stuff like that. And so Hindsight right now, as you can see, we are live. We did go the traditional business sense, and not the like crypto way of doing things with minting a token. There is no NFT, there is no token. We put the time, sweat, equity, and work into building this. We finally got our blessing from the patent lawyers to go ahead and launch. So Hindsight is full bore marketing now. And so going forward, we really want to be a part of communities. We want to help communities grow. We want new users coming to them, coming to the blockchain, doing this type of stuff. We are starting a referral program. So anyone who signs up and subscribes to Hindsight VIP, if they are using a DAO's link or an influencer's link or something like that, that DAO or influencer will receive a cut of that initial subscription. And so we're hoping to promote awareness, help communities flag some of the fake contracts that sometimes surround them. Some communities have moved from a V1 NFT or token to a V2. Some exchanges like Curve Finance has moved from V1s to V2s to V3 or in 4 now. And so we want to work with communities and help even flag those dead addresses so that a new user that just picks up blockchain tomorrow doesn't accidentally come across your version 1 and lose their money or interact with a dead address. And so Hindsight and myself, we're really focused on reaching out to as many communities and really trying to grow and help communities grow and help communities and feel safer and grow safer. And we're really, yeah, we're happy to work with anyone. And we can put your shapes and icons just like we did for Coinbase in your staking contract. That is fairly simple. And so going forward, we also have a timeline visualization that we'd like to talk about. It's kind of based off of Google Maps, where you would be able to go to block 1 of this token, and then you would be able to scroll forward on your mouse wheel and go to the current block and see new wallets become, and you would be able to see kind of the lifespan of that community and how it either grows or shrinks over time and fluctuates. And so we thought that would be a nifty tool, especially for new users, as blockchain and these dips and these crashes and these things happen, to see what they really look like on the large scale, on a 5-year scale or on a 4-year scale, what it actually looks like when something crashes or when a network has low activity, means, just a couple million transactions instead of tens of millions. And so those type of things are what we're also trying to grow and build. And then, yeah, I guess that takes us to pretty much time. I will come up here and see if there's any more questions. Hindsight is a Hindsight's a website. So you can access it through your mobile or through your desktop. You don't need to download anything. We don't have an app that you can download. You would just go to your browser and punch in hindsight.vip and get started.
I think I can ask my questions now.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, yeah. So I personally like this. I love any conversations around, I think I mentioned that earlier, getting it complex, simplifying, making it easier for people to consume. And the blockchain data is one of those things that is the shocker when you first try to navigate through it. So many things that at that moment you might not require. And I think this is taking a step further. I wanted to ask a question about the transactions, the part where you were showing the transactions. Are those inverted, or they are, if you can share a screen, I can show you, or perhaps
Yep.
I share mine. Yeah. So this is just more like I saw this. I just wanted to understand what order it came in. Serious question. Yes, this wallet, these transactions, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is it in an inverted order? So the recent ones first before the old ones, or
Correct.
okay. And I guess my second question is anything on Insight currently automated without human interactions? Like right now, everything is humans interacting with it. Nothing is like AI or something based.
Yeah, so this updates monthly on its own, and then the market caps and things update every 24. It'll refresh again in 7 hours. But whatever is on here on October 1st will be on here, and this will be the list of them until December 1st. And then they may swap up based on their monthly volume or based on monthly searches. But this is automated. One of our patents that I mentioned earlier is to automate the reporting and to get AI and machine learning involved in the detection of scam and malicious, and to kind of test contracts and things like that. We are currently working with applying for an SBIR grant. It's Small Business, Institute and Research in the US, to adapt this technology to Bitcoin and to improve that, and to start on that machine learning and improve it a little bit. And so we are working on that. But we do, at the end of the day, we want the human interaction, and AI is a good fallback, but at the end of the day, you need a human in charge of that. AI shouldn't replace organic intelligence, and organic intelligence, I think, can take into account things that AI can't. And so for an AI to fathom or to take the time to explain to a machine why someone would go and use the community shield feature to go and report someone maliciously that they don't like, that you would harm the tribe or you would harm the herd for your own gain. Like explaining that type of stuff to an AI is just not something we would want to waste our time doing. And so it's just easier to pair human and organic, human and AI intelligence, and let the AI do the bulk work and do the hashes and do what's actually meant for machines, run the machine readable code in a test environment and tell you if all its tokens are gone. And then the human be like, yeah, that's a scam, or be like, oh no, that contract is a contract where if you want to move all your funds from A to B quickly, that you can do that. I mean, I've done that a couple of times personally, where I have 60, 80, let's say 400 NFTs. I don't want to move 400 NFTs one click at a time. I'm just going to write myself a contract that, or I'm going to use my friend's contract that I can put in a sender receiver, pay it, and it'll just move it all. And so there's some things like that as technology grows and adapts. AI may read something that the website very clearly says, hey, this is a scam. You're putting in your own wallet to scam yourself to your other wallet. Only do this if you have a crap ton of NFTs you don't want to move. Or, like, and so AI, and which is how quick technology moves, may be slow for that, but a human's going to understand that. A human's going to see that, and a human's going to catch that type of stuff. And so we are moving towards automation, but we're never removing the human, like, basic logic.
Yeah. All right. I also want to like, I see this being a tool that people can use to um is it more like track or follow the pipeline of the authenticity of something. So I don't know if you know about this recent issue with Mr. Beast, that people were tracking his address saying he has been part of several insider trading, and there was a whole Twitter thread of the flow of money through his wallet and token. And
Yeah.
I know there are tools that this blockchain intelligence people use. There's one is Account. I just want to understand, can Ansight help with something like that? And if it can, what would you say is the how would it do that?
Yeah, so I need to be a little bit careful, but yes, hindsight does have some unique crypto sleuthing or crypto accounting capabilities. They need to be refined a little bit more, but we are working on AML logic, anti-money laundering. And I mean, there's tons of it out there for the insurance and for the banks and stuff, but reapplying that to blockchain, and for some of the things like burner wallets and some of the newer technologies that blockchain allows people to just spin up a wallet, send things, and then never use it again. Um, there are some things like that that we need to take into account, and we're reworking that technology for. But yes, you would have seen Mr. Beast's wallets transferring these funds to these funds. You may not have known they were malicious, because I don't know if anyone would have known to tag at the time, but you would have seen those rings appear. You would have seen those shapes appear and that value get transferred.
All right, that makes sense. You have a questions in the chat. I'm
Uh,
still new to blockchain so far. So for my knowledge, what is the traditional way of exploring blockchain networks? Like how Einstein
yeah,
is enhancing.
yeah. So the traditional way is kind of what we showed up here with, let me get that out of the way. So this is the traditional way that they show a transaction. Oh, I scrolled. Actually, you know what? We got time. I will just go to Etherscan for you guys.
And just so Daisy can ask question, you can also request to speak. So if you feel like your question is better explained with you saying something, please unmute your mic. Questions, opinions, and suggestions. We want to have a conversation here. The workshop is kind of over, and it's just more like a conversation session now. So yeah.
And so this is how Etherscan shows it. It shows you ETH balance, ETH value, and then tokens holdings. And then down here, it gives you all the transaction hashes. It gives you the method, which you saw in hindsight, we gave you the transfer. It gives you the block. It gives you the age of it, and then it gives you the from and to, it gives you the amount, and it gives you the transaction fee. And then as you go to internal transactions, it'll have a different list of transactions relating to internal. As you go to token transfers, these will be just the tokens, no ETH on Ethereum scan, no Sol on Sol scan. So as you can see here, these are all DApp radar tokens. And then NFT transfers. And so this is kind of how they break it out. And then they have the funded by, and they have these type of things, which are more specific towards devs, but hindsight does pull this information sometimes. And if it says it's funded by Binance, then we know to throw the shape on it. And we also obviously verify our backend software verifies the hashes and all that what it's showing up as Binance here is actually one of our Binance contracts that we have or addresses that we have. And so this is what just a wallet looks like, where we had the one ring with the branch offs. This is what that looks like here.
Okay, Steven, I hope that kind of helps you with your question. I have a question, and mine is, I don't know how many players are in this field, doing exactly what Anside is doing, or something similar, close, but indirectly or directly. If there are, what would you say sets Anside apart, and what feature or what exactly is the unique thing that Anside is giving that any other blockchain visualization tools might not be able to give? I know Dune. I don't know if you know Dune, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it's Dune. Yeah. So what would you say is that special sauce, the special ingredients that makes Inside Bang?
So that special sauce is the visuals, and that we can keep adding shapes and adapting with technologies and supporting more networks. And we have business use cases, we have educational use cases, and our price point compared to anyone else is a no-brainer. And then I guess the secret sauce would be that this is genuinely what we set out to do. We set out to make the blockchain easier for people to understand, to keep it affordable, to keep it accessible. And that is kind of, that is what we have done, and that's what we will continue to do. We have more things on the horizon, and yeah. Oh, hey, I think you're muted.
Oh, I said like more things like the bots on Discord and adding more networks and things like that.
Yep. So like say we're working on, we're getting a grant to do Bitcoin and to support XPubs. Discord bot is on its way, and we will keep upgrading the ways it notifies you and things like that. We also, I mean, we have three patents pending right now, two around our visuals and around the Explorer itself, and one around our machine learning to do the scams and malicious and test those addresses and verify those.
That's good. Yeah. So it might be pretty obvious, but I was wondering what are the primary users of Inside? Like, what do you see as the primary users of Inside, like the target audience?
Yeah, so our target audience is kind of anyone who uses a block explorer currently. And then all your friends. Like as a crypto person myself, I'm used to getting that eye roll and being like, I'm not crazy. I could explain this to you if I just had something. Well, we have you something now. Go explain it. Like instead of getting those eye rolls from your friends or family or dad, like pull up hindsight and give it a shot to explain it. Cause I mean, that's what we're for. And so we have, obviously I think there was a dev who already asked a question about testing it with their stuff, but yes, we do have a wide use case. The only thing that kind of limits us right now is we are kind of a small dev team. We only got the 4. So anything, if you enjoy the product, supporting us, tweeting, we do weekly Twitter spaces that are geared, designed, and dedicated for the crypto skeptical and new users, and anyone who feels like they may want to come and talk about or give input or maybe ask a pointed or very detailed question about a specific topic. You're welcome to come and join. And so yeah, we want to integrate with communities, and we really want to grow our community shield and just make the blockchain a safer place, and whichever blockchain that is.
That's cool. And
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. I want to ask that where's the best place to learn? I think you said there's a video on the homepage, and this might require some further reading. Is there like a place where you have tutorials or guides written
Yep.
for people
So
to
here
just
in
understand?
Learn on Hindsight,
Okay.
we have our blog, and there is a bunch of different articles and topics here. Everything, again, I don't know if you've noticed it, but we like to keep things easy and simple. So you're not, if you send this to someone, it's not going to be something that's saying decentralized and immutable and a dozen times. It'll all be very easily broken down into plain English.
In English. I just remembered something I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
And so this might be a feature request or a curiosity, as maybe it's possible and I did not know. Can I embed Insight visualization? I'm visualizing an address. Can I create an embed, perhaps an iframe or however it's done, and use it in a blog on another website or somewhere? Is it possible right now?
Yes.
Oh, so I would love to see that. If you show that, that would be cool. I think that would be nice to see.
So if I take this link, and this may not be what you mean, but I think it is, and I come in here and just post the same link, it'll take you to the same wallet every time. It'll take you to the most updated version, but it'll take you to the same wallet every time. So if you did put the link in your article,
That is
it would.
close.
And
What I was referring to
you
was more
complete it
like
in time?
I was referring to something where it's embedded into the content, so I don't need to click the link to come to Insight to see. Something like when people embed Twitter posts in the on the website. I
Like
don't. I'm thinking
this
of a
link
very
for
yeah.
like
I'm
to Soul Scan or to Ether Scan?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've seen an embed in Etherscan, but uh, I don't know the best way to explain it. But like an embed, you can create an embeddable link, and you can add it to your website or something, and it shows on that website. Like it shows. Let me find something I can. Um, the way. Have you used Notion? Do you use Notion?
No, how do I spell that?
Notion. If you don't use it, you might not get the example. But embeds are like so you want to you can create an embed of another service and just copy the link. And oh, a good example. Have you ever seen a YouTube video and it's playing on another person's site without having you to go to YouTube to watch it.
Oh yeah, we have that on this thing.
Exactly. Now, there are different ways to do this. Maybe you're using but there's an embed. So you imagine something like this, but it's on my website, it's on my blog or something, but I'm actually seeing the visualization that Insight is providing for address. So I could visualize a particular address and maybe use it to write an ad. Exactly. Imagine something like this. Is it possible
Okay.
right now?
Not like today right now, but that would not be difficult. I mean, that's just setting up a stream, and I mean that's not difficult.
I think that would be cool to have it because a lot of people are right and want to share, might appreciate to have that so they
Okay.
could create a visualization of something and use it in wherever they want to use it without, and I think it's good.
Yeah, I
Any
like
other
it.
question? Yeah. Any other question from the community? We are just 4 minutes beyond 6, my time, and this has been an exciting conversation. I particularly are seeing a tool that allows people to take all the complexity of the blockchain, especially the Explorer, and a step further to making it easier to understand. So if you have questions and you are curious about something, uh, you could tag Insight. I think the Twitter, if you can just drop the Twitter link in the chat, I really appreciate that. So people can find a link to, in case they have more questions or they need to follow up on something. Okay, and that's it, guys. We have learned today about this incredible product that makes it easier to visualize the blockchain, and I am excited about what we just learned today. So remember, we bring you things to train. This workshop is more about seeing new things, understanding new concepts, and expanding what we already know about the blockchain. Thank you, Chandler, for that workshop. I really love the fact that even your presentation wasn't as complex. It was straightforward and it's understandable, right? So
Yeah.
if that's all, if there are no questions, do you have any last thing to say, Chandler, before we call it a day?
Just a kind of a shameless self promo of that we did just launch and we are public now. And so if you know any communities that might be interested in the referral link or getting their data displayed on Hindsight, feel free to reach out to me personally through Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of the socials. I'm there. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me or anyone on the team about any project, no matter how new or how old. Like, we are here for it.
All right, you guys heard it first from the founder himself. So please do reach out. Insight is on Twitter. Please drop the link. Yes, please. Can somebody drop the link to the?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, the link to the Twitter and the chats, so people can just have a place to reach out. And you can also join the Web3 Africa community if you are not part of it. I would also drop the link to our website where the link is.
Yep, I'm
So
grabbing that Twitter link right now for you.
yeah. So web3africa.com, you would see the link to the website. Please follow and please join the community so that you can have access to things like this. And that is the Twitter link. I think Mercy just sent it. Yes, thank you, Mercy. And,
Thank you, Mercy.
And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for coming around. It's been a wonderful time, and I would see you in the next workshop.
Yeah, thanks
Bye,
for
guys.
having me.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.